Parents in Uvalde, Texas are outraged after learning how long it took for police to respond in Tuesday's school shooting. It's our top story at 11. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sarah Olsheh. Today, families are trying to process the news that authorities waited before entering the classroom where a gunman took 21 lives in the nation's 27th school shooting so far this year. CBS correspondent Danya Backus has more from Uvalde.
The Uvalde School District Police Chief's decision to wait before moving in on the gunman is now at the center of the mass shooting investigation. On Friday, Texas Public Safety Director Steve McCraw said the shooter was inside Robb Elementary School for more than an hour. At one point, nearly 20 officers stood by in the hallway under the belief an active attack was no longer underway.
Of course it was not the right decision. It was the wrong decision, period. There's no excuse for that.
Students trapped inside a classroom repeatedly called 911 begging for help.
She asked 911 to please send the police now.
19 children and 2 teachers were killed in a 4th grade classroom during the worst school shooting since Sandy Hook nearly a decade ago.
Tomorrow I'll be heading to Uvalde, Texas, to meet with each of those families. And as I speak, those parents are literally preparing to bury their children.
These visitors to the city reflected on how the world has changed in recent years.
Now we're at an age where, hey, we got to train for an active shooter.
In the aftermath, a church group is offering comfort from its K-9 team.
Grief is compounded by outrage here in Uvalde. The changing timeline and details about police in action have many people asking why this happened, especially since Uvalde police have undergone active shooter training.
Why didn't they make the right decision? Why didn't they go in? They got their own assault rifles. They got their vests.
Christian and Jessica Garcia's daughter Kylie survived the shooting, but now the family and many in the community are questioning why police didn't act sooner. Danya Backus, CBS News, Uvalde, Texas.
Tributes and visuals are pouring in for the victims of that Texas shooting across the country. Just yesterday, people from Southwest Detroit Pride hosted a candlelight vigil to pay their respects to the Uvalde community. Dozens gathered outside a learning academy in Southwest Detroit. In attendance was Congresswoman Debbie Dingell and Rashida Tlaib. The community stood together and held pictures of the victims while a pastor read aloud each victim's name. Dingell spoke during the ceremony and says she is ready to fight for common sense gun laws in Washington to ensure people who shouldn't have guns cannot get them. On the central side of the state, a mother and her 3 young children were shot to death, and the suspected gunman, her husband, has been hospitalized with a gunshot wound to the head. That's according to the Mecosta County Sheriff's Department. It happened in Austin Township, which is near Big Rapids, about 50 miles north of Grand Rapids. Sheriff's deputies responded to a home after receiving calls of shots fired. Upon arrival, they found 3 children under the age of 10 and a woman all shot dead. They also found a man shot in the head. He was taken to a hospital with no word on his condition. Officials say evidence suggests the woman's husband was responsible for the deaths. The investigation is ongoing. Well, up in northern Michigan, a man was arrested after pouring maple syrup into a couple's gas tank. The incident happened back in April in Alpena. Police were called to a parking lot after a woman said she and her boyfriend were confronted by a man. They got into a fight, but once the couple tried to leave, their car stopped working. After police checked the fuel cap, they saw a sticky substance. The car was towed where a mechanic confirmed syrup clogged the bottom of the tank. A warrant was issued and Jeremy Fisher was arrested this past week during a traffic stop. He was arraigned on 1 count of malicious destruction of property, according to Michigan State Police. Memorial Day weekend is here, and today Grand Ledge residents kicked off the holiday with their annual parade. 6 News reporter Elena Cousineau is here for you now with how the community enjoyed the festivities.